Hey powerful creators, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Janita Harris, and if you are new to this channel and you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification so you can be notified when I do new upload. In today's video, we are going to talk about inferior motives. My previous video that I uploaded, we talked about where we want to be in the next 5 to 10 years. And some of my friends, they called me and they were like, hey, what is this inferior motive stuff that you're talking about? And then I was like, I should probably do a new video on this, because I didn't actually go into full details about it. And like any good scholar, I'm coining my own term, inferior motives, because when they Googled it, of course, ulterior motives came up, but not inferior motives. So I am coining this, and because I can. What I mean by the definition of what is inferior motives, really what I'm talking about are low frequency emotions, feelings, behaviors, and thoughts that are often hidden or unknown as a reason to why we do something or achieve something. It's very important for us to understand when we're acting out our inferior motives, because as I said in my last video, they can prevent us from being fully self-expressed. Also, too, they can prevent us from taking accountability for ourselves. And a great example of that is when I was in graduate school, as well even in, once I graduated, I had a lot of inferior motives that were unconsciously driving me. And sometimes there's been motives that I knew that I've had that I was just trying to mask as other things instead of working through them to completely transform them into something that actually serves me in the long run, right? Because as a powerful creator, I truly believe that I'm always able to recreate myself and achieve and manifest everything that's on my heart and in my mind. But when you have inferior motives, there usually sometimes is a block to what we actually want to happen. So going back to graduate school, I participated in just a lot of different things. And I did some international competitions, some regional, and just consulting work with groups. And I really had this one particular group where I wanted to be the lead speaker. And what happened is subconsciously, without me even really knowing, I began to compete with everybody in my group. Now, competition in of itself is not necessarily good or bad. And if you are an avid sports player, competition can be really, really good, especially when you have a team to compete against. But you see, when you're competing against your own team, competition then becomes an inferior motive. So I spent all this time trying to become the best speaker so I could be the lead speaker for this presentation that we were going to give. What happened is we got to rate each other in the mid part of it all, right? And I got the lowest rate. And I was shocked and offended that I got the lowest rate. And what happened is the inferior motive of competition was driving me. And then it was protecting me because I could not take accountability that I did not do some of the other criteria that I needed to do. Because I was like, no, what are you talking about? I've done everything that I need to do. Obviously, you're hating on me, right? Because, you know, that's what your mind wants to come up with when you are trying to protect your ego. And what the reality was, when it came to the research portion of it, a lot of my thoughts were incomplete because, you know, I was holding off. I was going to wow everybody with my presentation, with my verbal skills. So therefore, the nonverbal of writing, I didn't completely written out sentences or anything like that. And then some of the more technical aspects, I don't even think I did some of them, and didn't even realize that I didn't do any of them because all of my mental energy was focused on being the best speaker so that I could have the lead speaking part within the whole entire group. But then I absolutely neglected every other part that would make me a competent speaker. So guess what? I sabotaged myself without knowing. And then outside of sabotaging myself, I couldn't really take accountability, because then what I heard was, you're not that good. You're not as good as you think you are. And that was shocking, right? Because my inferior motive had been driving me, and then because I could not see what was going on, and I could only focus on, but I'm the best speaker, I needed to protect myself. So in short, that's an example of how inferior motives have blocked me from achieving some of my ultimate goals in life. And I mean, that's just like a minor one. Another example of inferior motives is, if you watched like the last season of Insecure, Molly goes to meet her boyfriend's family, and the brother's wife, right, keeps giving her all these compliments, and her compliments seem so insincere. She's like, Molly ends up going, oh, is she gonna like kill me later on or something like that? And again, it seems like for the brother's wife, there might be some hidden jealousy going on right there, because it's pretty clear that the compliments don't seem sincere at all. And I think that's another example of how we might mask our inferior motives or our insecurities, is by, if we give someone a compliment but it's not a true sincere compliment, really what we're trying to do is we're trying to save face, and we're trying to show them that we're this team player, or we're this individual that can give compliments or flatters other people, and that we're not insecure, or we're not jealous, or we don't want something that person has. And so the inferior motives aspect of that can actually prevent us, right, from seeing that, oh, I actually envy this woman right now because I think her body looks better than mine, right? Instead of trying to figure out how we could accept our own bodies, or what we could do to transform our bodies to reach whatever goal we set for ourselves. And I think that example of Insecure is a really great way of masking our inferior motives, trying to gain a relationship and trust, and the purposes of, we don't really know, because we might not even be aware that becomes difficult to get to a place where we can be fully aware of what's actually motivating us, and coming to terms with the parts of ourselves that we don't like. We all are probably, to varying degrees. While having inferior motives is definitely and totally a human experience, it's not a place we actually want to stay. Because again, it can prevent us from taking accountability for ourselves, right? So then we become victims, and we blame other people, and we'll make up reasons that the reason why we failed in life is because people were jealous. The reason why we failed in life is because we're just so misunderstood. When really the reason why you failed in life could be that you're not as good as you think you are, and there's something that you could be doing to improve yourself to actually get the results that you want. But when you have an inferior motive, you're not even necessarily at a place to acknowledge that you may be the reason why you're not having the type of level of success that you desire and you crave for. An inferior motive can also prevent us from being fully self-expressed, whatever that may look like for you. So I think for me, I'm a very expressive person. One of my friends was like, and a family member was like, when I watch your videos, your eyes are always moving and your eyebrows and stuff like that. And I was just laughing. I'm like, I can't help it. Even when I do my interviews, if you look at my facial expression, sometimes I try to have like, a straight face, but how I express myself is I'm very expressive. So if Dr. Wesley or one of our guests say something that I didn't know and it strikes me, I might be like, oh, and that's authentically who I am. But again, our inferior motives sometimes might limit the way in which we naturally may express ourselves. I think a way for us to start becoming more aware is, one, self-awareness. So sometimes journaling can help with that. I'm a big fan of journaling. Of course, I've talked about that a couple of times in my videos. Well, also, we really want to reprioritize our mind. So I think I became a better teammate in groups when I stopped focusing on being the best speaker, the best whatever, and started figuring out, how can I bring value to the group, right? And what happened is, in a lot of the groups that I got, I ended up being able to be the lead speaker anyway, from shifting and reprioritizing my mind on, I'm going to be the lead, I'm going to be the best, to how can I best serve the group, what skills can I lend to the group, what value can I bring to the group, right, I actually began to accomplish the original goal, which was become the lead speaker. So reprioritizing your mind sometimes will actually help us to shift our motives from one that has a low frequency to a motive that has a higher frequency, helping us to actually achieve some of our goals. Alright, so I try to keep all my videos super short because most people don't have long attention spans. I don't usually have a long attention span, so I'm not going to bore you all with it anymore. But this video was super fun to make, and so if you have any questions about inferior motives or you want to keep the conversation going about that, let me know in the comment section below. And if not, we are going to be back next week, because next week we're doing another link check, and as you can see, baby, my hair is getting longer. It really is. So yes, we're going to do a links check on our next video. All right, everybody, I'll see you next week.